I just went on a big rant. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks. And I just went on a massive rant about all this stuff. I'll do it all over again. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to OlimoLeague week number 232, your weekly dose of OlimoLeague action. I apologize for the weird start. Do apologize. I have to get into everything all over again. I was talking about, like, you know, Chijik and the partnership, and I'll do it all again. There's a reason why I was muted. I guess I can get into that a little bit as well. But welcome one and all to an OlimoLeague replay cast. As was being stated in the chat earlier, this is not going to be a live event, as we actually did cast live last night. We were casting live last night. We are the official English casters for OlimoLeague, and we do cast on a weekly basis. For those who do not know what OlimoLeague is a weekly open tournament. It is the OG big successful kind of crowdfunded patron event from many years ago. Was very successful. Did eventually go on an extended hiatus, though. They did end their events. This was like back in 2020. I think they then had some invitationals. They like moved around the formats a little bit and they brought it back, or they continued it for a little bit longer, but eventually it did stop. But of course, Chijik, a Korean streaming platform, did sponsor the return of OlimoLeague. Now, if you're curious who and what is Chijik, it is, as I just mentioned, it is in a way kind of like the Korean version of Twitch. Basically, Twitch, they no longer support the Korean region. Twitch, I mean, technically, if you're in Korea, you can use a VPN and you can stream to Twitch using like Japanese servers or Taiwanese servers or stuff like that. But you can't get any revenue. You can't get any sub revenue. You can't get any ad revenue. You can't gain any monetary compensation for streaming on Twitch if you're living in Korea. So because of that, because Twitch pulled out of Korea, this was last year, like November of last year, competitors rose up in Korea. Soup and Chijik are the two major ones. I think there's a third one as well. I think there's like Kakao Live or something like that. But basically, some streaming platform competitors did rise up. Soup used to be a Freakin' TV, and Chijik, which is funded by Naver, which is like the Google of Korea. So there are some competitors, and they are now going to be, or they did approach Crank to sponsor a Korean weekly tournament. I say Korean, it's open to all regions, So really cool to see the return of OlimoLeague, but as you can imagine, because it is sponsored by a streaming platform, has to be held and streamed live on that streaming platform. So even though we have been streaming it for the past like month, maybe over a month at this point, not many people are aware because it's not here on Twitch, right? It's not here on Twitch or on YouTube, which are our two major platforms as a foreign audience. So if you have been missing out on it, I do recommend it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a great event to cast and cover every single week. And if you missed out, all the VODs are on YouTube. All the VODs are on YouTube. We can do that. We can, you know, even though we can only stream it live on Chijik, we can upload the VODs elsewhere. So the VODs are all on YouTube. Usually they're uploaded within like 3 days, within like 3, maybe 4 days, less than a week. In less than a week, they're all uploaded to YouTube. So it's all there for you to enjoy. But the reason why I'm live here on Twitter, and also I'm pretty sure, you know, you have people like Wardy who do, they do replay casts like the day after or something, right? We usually hand off the replays to Wardy, to, I think Pig gets them, I think Loco gets them. So we hand off, after we finish casting, we hand off the replays, and then they do their like Twitch streams. Basically, we are allowed to stream the replays on Twitch and on other platforms. It's just the live stream, the live cast, we can't do it on Twitch. Only on Chijik. For those that are curious, for those that are unaware, that is how it is set up. But when we were streaming last night, there were a couple of technical issues which were really unfortunate, and we, one, missed out on a couple of games, and two, we also received some games as well that we could also cast. So I was gonna record this anyway. I was gonna just do a local recording and then upload it to YouTube, but I'm like, you know what, if I'm gonna record this anyway, let's just do it live. So I decided to go live, and I have a bunch of replays here from OlimoLeague to cover, to go into, and to eventually upload on YouTube as well. So may as well just cast it here, especially because I imagine most people haven't seen it. Most people haven't seen these matches because, again, Chijik, a lot of people watch it, unless you're in Korea. Also, as a bit of a PSA, if you do want to follow us on Chijik, I got you there. Exclamation mark, I got you there. Do you do Kung Fu Cup? Go on hiatus for a while. I'll put that in plasma while they're doing Masters Coliseum. Masters Coliseum is this weekend. Those are the people that do World Team League, as a heads up. So So here we go. So I do apologize for the mute earlier. I do apologize. What was I about to get into? Oh yeah. I did just link it in the chat. If you're curious, you can check it out there. What I will say, another PSA, is that depending on where you are in the world, you will actually struggle to watch on Chijik. The routing to Chijik is actually really, really bad if you're not in South Korea or in the Asia region. So we have heard reports that if you're in Europe or if you're in the Americas or Latin America, and if you're trying to watch streams on Chijik, you will be buffering quite a bit, and it can be quite difficult to watch. We have heard that VPNs help, so if you want to watch streams live on Chijik, you can use a VPN, and that will assist you. But outside of that, it can be quite difficult to watch things, again, unless you're closer to the region. Again, just because they only host Korean servers, so your connection to the Korean server might be a little bit rough. Just as a heads up. Again, it's not very friendly to the international scene and to the international community. But regardless, that's, you know, if you want to watch stuff live, you can do so on Chijik for OlimoLeague. Otherwise, we're here to cover some of those replays. Now, another bit of a PSA here. It's going to be a little bit messy. There are some full series. There are some full series that we're going to be covering, but there are also some individual matches that I wanted to get into as well. The reason for this, one, there is a game that I lagged out of. I say I lagged out of. The Battle.net just kicked me. I don't know what happened, but I just disconnected from BNet. So there is one game that I just wasn't able to cover. So I wanted to cover that, and then I'm going to edit it together with the rest of the cast of that series and upload it to YouTube. So there are some instances like that where I'm going to be casting only like one game of a series. I did cast everything, but I missed out on like one game here or there, so that is something that I'm going to be doing. But there are also some full series that I'm going to be covering as well. Oh boy. So as a bit of a teaser, you can already see it. Up first is herO versus Nicoract. This is an example of a series that I'm only going to be casting one game of. The reason for that is there was a bit of a rough start to the tournament. I can let you guys know this as well. When the tournament started, then it had to be stopped because it wasn't seeded properly, so I had to be like reseeded and had to restart again. So there was a bit of a delay to the start of the tournament. Because of that, there was a little bit of chaos trying to find our first series, and this was our first series, herO versus Nicoract. This was our first series we casted, and we did cover the rest of the series, but we missed out on game one. They started without us, so we missed out on game one. So I'm here to cover game one. I did want to catch up on it so that the series will be complete when we upload it to YouTube. Likewise, the series that I'm referring to, where we were kind of kicked out of a game, was Oliveira versus Creator. So Oliveira versus Creator, we'll get there. We'll be jumping into that series as well. And yeah, again, as a heads up, I'm going to be I'm going to be covering only one game in that series, but I believe for everything else, we're going to be covering the full series. So yeah, we do have some matches to get into. So yeah, also this morning, I do apologize for not casting Code for Giants Cup. Usually we cast Code for Giants Cup. Didn't cast it because of all the issues that we had last night covering OlimoLeague. I had to re-record a bunch of stuff. I had to do a bunch of stuff. But the PC was rendering all day, so I couldn't cast. I couldn't cast this morning. I couldn't cover Code for Giants Cup, so I do apologize for that. But it's time to jump in. Also, we're on a bit of a timer. I only have a couple of hours because in a couple of hours we're casting Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. So we're busy. we're gonna be busy tonight. We have OlimoLeague straight into Sparkling Tuna Cup. Oh boy! So a lot of casting tonight, as always, Pappy. All right. First things first. We're jumping into herO versus Nicoract. Back to back. Yeah, exactly. Just catching up. I watched GOM TV 360p so I can handle it. True. Let's go. Even in Australia, it was tough. Smooch. MC qualifier, that's this weekend. Master Coliseum qualifier are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As always, we will be casting every single region for the Masters Coliseum qualifier. So I mean that it shouldn't even be a question in your mind, Bob. It shouldn't be a question. You know, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there for every single one, as always. But for now, let's jump into our first game. Let's jump into herO versus Nicoract. Let's go. Again, this is the round of 32. This is the first round of the tournament, and we are jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of a neon violet square, we have the red Protoss player from South Korea representing Weibo Gaming WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. Here we go. Now, if you're curious about the format of OlimoLeague, if you haven't tuned in before, one, I still recommend the VODs. The VODs are all on YouTube for the past, month of OlimoLeague. It's been amazing. It's been beautiful. But the format is... the starting map is on the bracket. So because of that, we actually get to experience some of these maps that are otherwise usually vetoed, because the admins, they force players to play on these maps. It's beautiful. So later on down the line, we're going to be seeing some more El Dorado, for example, some more Neon Violet Square, some more Abyssal Reef. Again, because of the format, players, they have to play on them. It's beautiful. And on top of that, losers pick. No vetoes in OlimoLeague. It's losers pick. So likewise, because of that as well, we also experience more of these maps that are usually vetoed, because they're usually not necessarily liked by certain races. So yes, because that the format is a little bit different here, it is a little bit more refreshing. This is one of the only weeklies, I think the only weekly tournament that does the losers pick system. It is not really a system that is done too often whatsoever. There you go. There are some pros and cons to it. One, the pro, especially when it comes to newer players that join kind of a league or a system, it can sometimes be difficult to explain what the veto system is and who's the higher seed, who's the lower seed, all that stuff. So it is a little bit more user-friendly. As the probe does dip in and will dip out. It does force some inefficient mining in the main base. And of course, Nicoract is going double gas. Double gas opener by Nicoract. Do have the recall here from herO, saving the probe. And Nicoract is going for a faster factory. Now, something I should talk about the players a little bit here. Nicoract is very aggressive. He's very aggressive in this matchup. We often see 2 or 3 base all-ins. Just hyper aggression from Nicoract in this matchup. But what I will say, Neon Violet Square is the largest map in the map pool. The old maps are big to begin with. Neon Violet Square, King's Cove, Abyssal Reef, they're all big, they're all large. They are the 3 largest maps in the map pool, no surprise there. But Neon Violet Square is one step above that. So if we did want to go for something aggressive and something like a 2-base all-in, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pull off on this map, just because it takes so long to get across the map. Now though, here are going to be forcing Nicoract away. No Reaper Cliff either, bear that in mind. No Reaper Cliff coming into the main base, no Reaper Cliff coming into the natural. The third base or the pocket base is very safe and secure as well. So there's a reason why, especially on a map like this, we often see a lot of longer, later games. You can very easily secure yourself on 3 bases, and even on 4 bases, and even on 5 bases. There's a reason why, you often see this map vetoed as well, is because you can secure yourself quite nicely here on Neon Violet Square and force a longer kind of game state, the mid game and the late game. But now though, we do have our 1-1-1. Nicoract did expand. It is, again, a later expansion for Nicoract, but an expansion nonetheless, so no crazy 1-base all-in or anything like that. Is going to be expanding, getting into his 1-1-1 so far, going into some Hellion production just to be active on the map. Nothing too committed here, just 2 Reapers and 2 Hellions as the hallucination dips in to get a full scout of what's going on. Confirms the timing of the CC, confirms the 1-1-1, and the add-ons as well. As that is going to be a tech lab on the factory. That is the tell that we're going to early, I was going to say tank production. We have seen the prevalence of a Cyclone build with fast magfill accelerators. There's been, I want to say Oliveira, and I think Honmono have been messing around with it. I'm curious if Nicoract, okay, there we go, is going to be a tank. No Cyclone, not yet, not this time. Meanwhile, Hellion Reaper does dive into the mineral line. Boys being pulled away. They do line up. Force field will look down the army. Nice cleanup here by herO. He shuts down the Reaper, shuts down the Hellions. Will still lose 2 workers in the process, but a better trade for herO as the Hellion slips in, and the Hellion does get a full scout. Not bad. Does get a full scout. Does get eyes on the Twilight Council alongside Blink. Is fully aware of what's going on. So not a bad scout here by Nicoract, but that was it 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions for 2 workers. Not the best trade. This was a better moment for herO instead. There's the NG overcharge, going for another hallucination across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, it is going to be Tank Banshee. Again, this is a very common strategy nowadays. This was popularized at the start of the year, at around the start of 2024, by the Korean Terrans, talking about Maru, talking about Byeon. Then it kind of, spread from there, and yeah, it has been a build that we do see quite often mixed in to a TVP. Oh boy. Now, there's a couple of different approaches you can go with this. You can turn this into a 2-base all-in and just even pull the boys and move in with your tanks and Banshees all as one, or you can try and distract, right? You move in with your ground army, and then your Banshees come in for a backstab into a mineral line, into the natural or the main base. Banshees can do a surprising amount of damage to mineral lines in a short period of time. It's crazy. And here we go, and we pull the boys. Let's go. I mean, we're going for the all-in variation of this. The tanks, they move out towards the left-hand side. The reason for this, tanks cannot move through the Pachinko machine. The tanks are too thick. They cannot squeeze through these blocks. They have to go the long way around. Banshees as well, the boys as well. And the hallucination, did herO actually see what was going on? He's throwing down shield batteries. Okay, he's throwing down shield batteries, throwing down backup pylons as well. He's trying to secure himself. Shield battery in the main. Oh, he's getting ready for Banshee defense. Uh-oh. He's getting ready for Banshee defense here instead of getting ready for the all-in that's coming his way. Hallucination barely catches some of the army. Did see an SCV, but did herO notice? Oh, now he knows. Now he knows what's going on. Does respond. Only one shield battery here at the natural. Is going to try and slow this down. Go for the SCVs. Go for the Marines even. Gets a couple of SCVs. Banshees, they do add quite a bit of DPS here in the back line. Tanks, they're getting within range. And the goal here is to siege up within range of the shield batteries. They're a little bit too far back. A lot of SCVs going down. One Banshee does fall. Decent tank shots. Tank shots on the Stalkers. Pylon under fire. Pylon goes down. Depowers the shield battery. That was a wasted NG overcharge as well. Again, the second pylon barely not within range. Immortal has arrived. We go for the dive. Oh, he gets one. He's going to get one. Oh, a bit of miscontrol here. Oh my god. And a herO does target down both. The only one. He gets one. The other survives. How much? 5 HP. The second tank survives, and Nicoract, he breaks through. He breaks through the defensive line. He's getting on top of the Robo. The Robo's under fire. No more Immortal. Barely any army. Shield batteries are on the way, but it's too late. It's too late here. Again, herO, he miscalculated with his dive. The boys are here to repair. They top up the tank. The boys are being pulled in a moment of desperation here, but herO's down to 2 Stalkers. That's all he has. Only 2 Stalkers, and with that, Nicoract, he breaks through. That's 20 probes going down. And the 2 base all in, it worked. Even on nearby square. To be fair, herO didn't scatter until this. Like herO, he didn't see it coming until it was already at his front door. That's on herO for not scouting it ahead of time, for not seeing the move outs, for not being aware of what was happening. He was caught with his pants. The pants were down, Bobby. He was caught with his pants down. Behind this herO, he took a third base, getting fully saturated. Again, a third base that is not going to matter, not going to come into play. Does have extra warpins though, has 4 gateways here in the main. Tanks are pushing forward. Can herO slow this down? I mean, true, herO, he is on 2 bases. Technically, like, he can kind of maintain himself a little bit. I mean, it's half a base, so not as valuable. The tanks are moving forward, getting within range of the gateways. Gateways are going to be depowered. And now we're down to 3 gates. 3 gates left, but he's coming in for the surround. Does go for the dive. He gets 1. Gets 1 tank, gets 2. He's going to get all 3. He's going to get all 4. Every single tank. Hey, not bad. Shuts down all the tanks. He's going for the Banshees. Nice control here out of herO with the blink. Does save most of his army. Does save most of the army. Does pull away. And Nicoract, he's running out of steam. He is running out of steam here and is going to try to break the pocket base. Alas, herO, nice blinks. He does get away. Does focus everything down. Not losing a single additional Stalker. Very nice control. The army is very battered, very bruised, but herO saves all of his Stalkers. Nice control out of herO. Behind this, getting a third base. So, on the one hand, herO holds, but at what cost? He lost his Forge, he lost his Robo, he lost his Expansion. He's on 2 bases, but oversaturated. He's not mining efficiently whatsoever. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's got plenty of bases to work with. Third CC is already done, landing it on location as well. Nicoract, he's up in bases, up in workers, up in economy, and it's not going to take him long at all to rebuild that army. herO, he's going to make some magic happen with these Stalkers. He's going for a big counterattack. Again, the Stalkers are very low, though. One wrong step, and this army is going to crumble. We can't make any mistakes. No bunker. Interesting. No bunker here in the main, or the natural, I should say, or in either base, actually, for Nicoract. So it is a little bit exposed. But outside of that, I mean, with this tank lineup, I don't really see herO getting much done here. Oh. We'll chip away at the Marines. Gets 1. Picks up 1 Marine. herO backs off. I mean, that value is value. True. Does get a Marine. Observer confirms the third base. herO's aware. And here comes the second move out, this time with Stim. We have Stim, +1, combat shields. Nicoract, he has an army. Cashes out the Stalkers. Oh my god, they get congested. I mean, the Pachinko machine, it fights back. I mean, that's the downside here of these squares, is you can just get choked up here. And it can really brutalize you if you're trying to escape, if you're trying to run away. Oof. herO's on the run. Tanks reinforcing. And Nicoract, he should be able to clean this up as well. 3 tanks make it. Sorry, 3 Stalkers make it home. 2 Stalkers make it home even. Oh no! One Stalker makes it home. Behind this shield battery still in the way. Storm is not done. Hero needs more time. He needs a couple more seconds here for Storm to finish. And without Storm, Nicoract, he dives into the main. Oh, no, not quite. Is deterred. Sees the rotation. Nicoract backs off. Does back off from here. Stimming off the ram. Oh, and gets a sentry. Sentry goes down. Marines, they get into the mineral line. Nice target firing out of Nicoract. Ooh, pop pickup. Saves 3 of the Marines. Only loses 1. And Storm is done. Storm is done for hero. But that's a lot of her orders. Nicoract, he can take some storms to the face. Speaking of, oh god. that was a brutal storm. But we're running out of storms. Zealots they charge in, and Tank Boy's going off on the High Templar. Nice target fighting with the Immortal. He gets 1 tank, he gets 2 tanks. But where's the rest of the army? Down to 3 Zealots. It is enough to deter Nicoract. He pulls away. Double jump towards the main. Nicoract pulling back towards the 4th location. Again, reinforcements take a long time to get across the map. We spoke about that. That's why, I mean, that's typically why being aggressive can be difficult, as it takes so long to reinforce. But Nicoract, he gets into the mineral line. GG gets called, and Nicoract will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Bappy. GG, well played. Nicoract will take a lead in the series. Again, he did commit to a 2-base all-in, which is what he is known for. I didn't think it would be as effective on a map as large as Neon Violet Square, but as we tried to point out there, hero didn't scout the move out until it was already at his front door. He didn't scout it until it was at the first set of squares. So again, hero, he had very little time to respond. Behind it, hero, he was expanding, taking a 3rd base, taking up as well. He only had 1 shield battery with the natural. Again, as we mentioned, hero, he was caught. The pants were down. He was unprepared. And with that, Nicoract does take a lead in the series. GG, well played. Whew. What a game, Pappy. What a game. And again, it's kind of awkward here, but if you want to find out the conclusion of this series, check out the VODs. Check out the VOD on Chijik, check out the VODs on YouTube. Again, this was the first game of the tournament, and unfortunately, we missed out on the game. We weren't able to join the game, so that's why I wanted to follow this up with a replay cast. We were here for the rest of the series, and we were able to conclude it as well. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of OlimoLeague, week number 232. I'm, of course, your side VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. I do apologize for the delayed start, and unfortunately, we missed out on the start of our series, but at least we're here for game number 2, as we are spawning into Amygdala. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Weibo Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Blue Terran player, representing the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is Nicoract. Let's go. Again, we knew that this is a series that we wanted to jump into, as already a crazy upset, a crazy starting result is being informed to us. Unfortunately, we missed out on that first game, but at least we're able to make up for it, and we're able to catch up on game 2 and game 3. We'll see how this story does conclude. We'll see if Nicoract completes the upset or if herO bounces back. We're here to find out. For those of you that may be not familiar with Nicoract, he's very aggressive in this matchup, does often go for 2-3 base all-ins, is very much so in the face of the Protoss as often as possible, and I mean, clearly can take it to the best of them. So again, Nicoract looking strong here, at least to start things off. When it comes to what happened in game 1, no idea what did occur in game 1 outside of the scoreline, of course, but here we go. We can now embrace Amygdala here in game number 2. Here we go. As now we do have our gate cyber expand. So far, standard opener here out of herO. Likewise, Nicoract back at home going for a Rax expand economic opener. Single gas here from our Terran player. So single gas into a faster CC. Again, whether or not he opened up aggressively in that last game, uncertain, but at least is going for the faster command center on the low ground. Here we go. Is going for that economic start. And now we can settle in. Outside of the length of the game, I think the last game was around 10 or so minutes, around 10 or so minutes as well, so went in towards the mid-game, mid-game aggression. For now, though, we can settle in. Is going to be our initial Reaper moving out across the map. into Reactor, into our factory. From here, we can go into Reactor to Reaper Hellion. We can go for an add-on swap. This can lead into a more delayed Widowmine drop instead. Let's embrace it. Let's find out. Let us go. As Reaper does move out. Of course, some of the big features of Amygdala is just how exposed some of these bases are. The 3rd and 4th bases are more exposed. Likewise, the rush distance by ground is a little bit longer than on some of these other maps. I mean, that does make up for how exposed some of these bases can be. But I do kind of favor Nicoract here if he does plan on being aggressive again. Meanwhile, Stargate opener by herO. The scout is denied.
Complete.
Reaper's going to be knocked out of the main base, but we do have that Stargate on the way. Oh. Do have that Stargate on the way for, I would imagine, an Oracle, potentially a Phoenix-based opener. We'll see which one herO does go for, but I'm a little bit concerned for herO because typically a Stargate opener is considered to be a little bit more unsafe. A little bit more unsafe here. Instead, a Reaper dips in and is going to be zoned away, is going to be denied. From here, the Reaper is forced back. herO establishing himself, has yet to really reveal his tech. Could be a blink-based opener for all Nicoract knows. And, oh! It's going to be denied. Phoenix on the way for herO. It's going to be Phoenix first. Now, when it comes to these Phoenix-based openers, they can do an amazing job at gaining map control, shutting down drop play, and picking apart some very high-tech units as well. When it comes to a longer game, when it comes to a dedicated push, though, when it comes to an all-in, that can hit quite hard. Can hit very hard here. As we do see, Nicoract, he is going to be embracing Banshee production back home into tanks. So Banshee tank opener here out of Nicoract. herO will confirm. We'll get eyes on this. herO is aware, does support the researching tech lab. That will tell herO everything he needs to know. I mean, technically, it could be it could be Raven, where Raven-based openers have fallen off. Meanwhile, we do get in. Ooh, the Stalker does get knocked out of position. Hellies, they bust into the mineral line. Probes are lining up. And workers, can they go down? Alas, they are pulled away in time, and herO will defend. Phoenixes are revealed. Now Nicoract is aware of what's happening, but he is cleaned up and doesn't get any probes. Again, there was potential for damage, but as we saw, the Hellions were cleaned up real quick, and herO defends. herO does defend. Phoenix moving out across the map towards the natural. Does move out across the map. Banshee is now finishing up. And we'll get into the mineral line, but remember, herO, he scattered earlier. He scattered everything, so the Banshee isn't going to get much done. Stalkers are ready for it. Observer is in position, and the Banshee does go down. So herO, he cleans up, he shuts down the Banshee. Solid start for herO. Solid start. Shuts down the Hellion, shuts down the Banshee. This is already a big investment here into units that just have not paid for themselves for Nicoract. He is building up on 2 bases, getting into more Banshees and more tanks, but I would imagine at this point this is going to be a dedicated move out here. Especially with a 3-rack setup from the side of Nicoract. I would not be surprised if he goes into an all-in from here. As he's getting his first eBay. Yeah, the boys are being pulled. This makes sense. The boys are being pulled. I mean, again, like, after losing a lot here early on, it does mean that in a longer game state, Nicoract, he's going to have a hard time recovering. Hard time maintaining himself. The all-in is scouted, and herO, it's all about defense. It's all about surviving here. Colossus production has begun, going into Phoenix Colossus. It's all or nothing for Nicoract. And can he break through? Banshee overextends. Banshee goes down. Tanks are caught on siege, and this move out, it's a little bit lackluster here. Is falling on its face. Does have 1 tank behind this, but just the 1 tank. 6 SCVs go down. Phoenixes, they do get back home just in time, and they shut down the tank. They do lift. GG gets called, and herO takes game number 2. GG. herO does size up, and we are going to that ace match. Again, Nicoract, he had a lot of potential when it came to his opener, but again, we saw it did fall in its face when it came to the Hellion run by, when it came to the initial Banshee harass as well. Again, typically when your early investments like this don't really pay for themselves, and especially at this level of play, try to macro out of it is a very difficult thing to do. So Nicoract, he pulled the boys, went for the all-in, and unfortunately we saw herO, he was able to get eyes on it ahead of time, able to shut it down. GG. GG, well played. We are going to game 3. We are going to the ace match here, and we'll see how this story ends. As as we are tied up 1-1, and it is, of course, loser's pick. It's going to be up to Nicoract here to dictate where he does take us and where we head next. Where are we going? So we're getting ready for that final game. I see someone asking in the chat what happened in game 1. Unfortunately, we missed out on game 1, so I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you what happened in game 1, unfortunately. But we're at least here for game 2 and game 3. We are here for it. Players are just determining which map they want to load into. Still determining where that will occur. Oh, and we have our lobby. It's going to be King's Cove. Okay. We have our lobby here. King's Cove is going to be up next. One of the larger maps of the map pool. Interesting. Now, something we do know about Game 1 is that it was on Neon Violet Square. True. Was on Neon Violet Square, which is the largest map in the map pool. I'm curious if potentially we saw like a greedy build out of Nicoract that he got away with. We'll see. We'll see if we see something similar here on King's Cove. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean herO player, the red herO, representing Weibo Gaming, WBG. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, being forced into the ace match. We'll see if we can bring it back. It is Nicoract. Here we go. As we are going to be moving out here with our probe. And herO looking to set up a bit of a proxy. Okay, my eyes are on you here. It's going to be a gateway back at home. We have our proxy set up here across the map as well. And we'll see where this takes us. Nicoract getting to his own racks. So far, economic opener at Nicoract. Single gas opener means racks into a CC on the low ground. Meanwhile, herO opening up with a 2 gate. So it's going to be 1 gateway back at home, 1 across the map. Now, this is quite aggressive here. The goal is going to be to chrono out first a Zealot across the map, or I should say Zealot from the gateway back at home. With the proxy gateway, you go into a Stalker. You go into a Stalker to reinforce, Adept as well to zoom across the map, and ideally you do delay and disrupt the opener of your opponent. There's that first Zealot, as we did mention. By the time the Zealot gets across the map, the Stalker will be able to reinforce in time. And the goal is going to be to delay the CC and potentially force a cancel. So there's a lot of potential for herO. Nicoract is going to be on him to determine how much danger he's in. Is opening up Reaper. Hopefully the Reaper does not get caught out as he moves out across the map. We'll see if he does end up scouting and doesn't have realized what's going on. Marine follow-up, potentially with a bunker. Reaper moves out, gets eyes on the probe. Probe will pull the Reaper towards the right-hand side. We'll buy some time. Zealot on the way. Adept as well. Ooh, okay. So I assumed it was going to be a Stalker with an Adept, but it's going to be double Adept here from herO. Adepts, they do move in faster as they can shade across the map, as opposed to Stalkers. So they do reinforce that much faster. Bunker is on the way. The bunker can it finish in time? It will not. Bunker is denied. Without the bunker, it's going to be hard holding on. And it looks like the bunker will barely finish up in time. Very clutch, very close. Meanwhile, one Adept gets into the main. Going for some SCV kills. Getting 2 SCVs so far. 2 SCVs, getting up to 3 workers already. Meanwhile, across the map, the Reaper's popping up. Oh, getting 5 probes. Oh my god. The one Reaper with 5 probe kills. That's crazy. 5 workers go down. The CC is delayed, but Nicoract, he's holding his own. So Nicoract, he may have lost 4 workers, but he has been able to reciprocate that damage across the map. Building up his Marine count with 1 Marine. He's not going to be able to deal with this. 2 more Marines on the way. Cyclone as well. Here come the reinforcements, and he needs to deal with this as quickly as possible here. Starter steps forward, going for the Adept. Reaper comes back home as well. Adept should go down. Gets a Zealot. There we go. Cleans up the Adept. One more Adept has arrived. Stalker as well. Marines, they don't quite get into bunker in time. One Marine goes down. Another SCV, and this is becoming a little bit too much. But he holds. He's holding on. CC finishes. Very important. CC does complete, and here comes that Cyclone. It's halfway done. Nicoract, he just needs a little bit more time for that Cyclone. Until then, herO can still threaten that mineral line. He can threaten it. Adepts shading in. Ooh. Diving in the army. Getting a Marine, getting a Reaper. Is going to kill 3 more SCVs here on the low ground. Once again, decent damage. Nicoract now falling behind. herO is now getting his natural up and running, and herO maintains a 6-worker lead. Is up 6 workers. Of course, Nicoract can recover from that, and as long as he doesn't lose any more workers from here on forward, he can be okay, but you can see here he just continues warping in. More Stalkers, now a Sentry. Tank is on the way for Nicoract. Can he hold on? Can he survive? Can he recover, more importantly? Oh! Force Field almost locks down the Cyclone. Almost. Whew, that was close. Cyclone barely gets away. Cyclone barely does escape. Oh! As the Nicoract is going to be able to hold on. So far, so good. Tank has arrived. And now we can see herO transitioning into Blink. Twilight Council's all the way. 2 gateways in the main. 1 gate. Oh, sorry, 3 gates in the main, I should emphasize. So 3 gate Blink. I guess 4 gate Blink technically with the proxy. True. So 4 gate Blink Stalker follow up. I assumed it was going to be Blink. My apologies. It's going to be Charge instead. Very aggressive here by herO. He's going to be doubling down. Nicoract coming across the army.
Additional supply.
And he's going to be distracted. He's going to be pulled away. Gets a Stalker. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. I mean, Stim is done. Nicoract, he will miss the gateway, but he can move out across the map. And back at home, Zealots are reinforcing. Immortal production has begun. The first Immortal's almost popped out. Shield batteries as well. Force fields. Nicoract, he rotates around. Approaching the long way. Shield battery is done in time. Oh. Zealots are spotted. Stim's in. There's the first force field. Tank sieges up. Every stim does hurt though. Force fields, they buy time. They force Nicoract back. Still within range though. Takes down the shield battery. Not a bad pickoff. Up, going for the sentry. Gets 2. Oh my god. Barely. He wants 3. He gets it. Gets 3 sentries, but he will be cleaned up. Yeah, he's gonna be cleaned up from here. There's no escape. Gets 1 more Zealot. Very nice attention to detail there out of Nicoract. As he can barely roll away. He's getting out of here. Barely does roll away. Prism moving out. There we go. Charge does complete. A tank falls. And back at home, Nicoract is trying to secure himself. Now with a second tank. I mean, upon seeing Charge, that's a big tell it's going to be an all-in. Like, Charge is very unorthodox. So, already a nice sign here for Nicoract to scout that early on. Drop into the main. There is a tank here at the ramp, but here comes a massive warp in. And Nicoract, he's late to respond. Going for concussive shell. Not bad. Concussive shell is denied. Boys are being pulled. Going for the prism. Oh, unable to do so there. Okay, that's a lot of Zealots. Tank is exposed. Boys are being pulled. First tank is going to go down. And so a lot of SCVs. Nicoract trying to respond in time. Losing every single SCV in the main. Dives on the prism. Will get it, but not before the warp in finishes. Half the warp in. Half the warp in does complete. Nicoract down to a handful of units. GG gets called. He gets broken, and herO will take the 2-1. GG. Oh my god, GG, well played. A very intense series. Congratulations, herO will take it 2-1. Will advance on to the second round. And we are here to determine who is going to be his next opponent. But a shout out to Nicoract, of course, for forcing the ace match, for bringing us all the way to game 3. Ooh. GG. GG.